Hello and welcome to HealthyHouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today we are going to talk about cyclamen, these beauties here. They are very common during the holiday season, during the winter months, because they are a cold weather plant. You may very well be gifted one of these beauties here for a gift. Find them in the store and buy them because you just love them. So they are a really lovely plant to grow indoors at this time of year, which right now is the winter months here. They are, if you treat them well indoors, they can be kept blooming for quite a long time. One thing to keep in mind when you're buying them is to look for ones that have buds that haven't bloomed yet for you. That's a really good thing to do if possible. This one too, same thing. It has a lot of ones that haven't opened their blooms yet. Besides the fact that the blooms themselves are beautiful even before they open, it's going to give you a lot more mileage on the plant in terms of its duration indoors growing for you. So they can actually look nice for 2 to 3 months indoors if the conditions are good, and I'll talk about that and how to keep them healthy and also how to get them to bloom for you again next year, because what commonly happens is they after they're done, they don't look good, and then people end up getting rid of them when you could actually enjoy them the following year as well. These guys are going to be going into a terrarium, so these mini cyclamen look really nice in holiday terrariums. I'm going to be doing a holiday terrarium in a following video, so you'll be able to see how pretty they look in that too. Okay, so as mentioned, they do bloom at this time of year. If you're watching during winter months, they are technically tubers like potatoes. So they create this very distinctive flower, as things in the potato family tend to do. The blooms come in a variety of vibrant colors. If you're seeing here, we have a white, and we have this red, and we have this really pretty fuchsia color. They're also, they come in salmon color, lavender, yellow, pink. So there's a lot of variety in that regard to choose from. They're heart-shaped. The leaves are heart-shaped and gray-green. They're often variegated with silvery and mottled patterns, as you're seeing here. It's a silvery mottled pattern, which is really, really pretty. And the heart-shaped leaf is gorgeous. These are, as mentioned, mini varieties. The standard variety has the same sort of look, but just bigger flowers and bigger leaves on them. I have these guys, as mentioned today, for the terrarium, because when you're doing a terrarium, you want the smaller plants, smaller varieties of plants. The plants, as mentioned, grow from a tuber, which is a short underground stem, and they have no stem above ground. So you'll see how they are growing pretty much just right. The leaves are coming right out of the top of the pot. The solitary flowers grow on stalks that are not too tall. They go up about an inch or two on these guys, and about I should say a half an inch to an inch on these guys, and about an inch or two on the standard larger variety. It's a genus. The cyclamen is a genus of more than 20 species, and they are in the Moraceaceae family. They're native to Middle East and Southern and Central Europe. And this is the florist cyclamen, which is Cyclamen persicum. And it's the best known variety, and it's the most widely grown. So it's the one that you're going to generally find. So here's how to keep cyclamen healthy during the winter months and how to get it to rebloom for you next year, so you can keep enjoying them every year. So you want to keep things cool, as mentioned. They thrive in cool temperatures. Keep them out of warm areas of the home, such as near heating ducts or fireplaces or radiators. They just will not do well in those particular areas. What will happen generally is they will just finish up. The blooms will die back and they'll be done, because they think that the warm months have come for them, and then they say, okay, well, I'm done now. So remember, you're Father or Mother Nature, as I often talk about, within your home. So to them, if your home is very warm, they will think that spring has come, spring has sprung, and it's time for them to go dormant. So the coolest area that you can for them is the best. They prefer between 55 and 65 degrees, so that's generally doable. If you have a porch, screened-in porch or something like that, they can do very well in that sort of an area, providing that there is enough light. And speaking of lighting, so you want to provide them with bright light. You want to place cyclamen in an unobstructed eastern, southern, or western window. Close to the window is preferable, as it will provide the most light, and it will tend to be cooler there near the window as well if you live in a cold climate during the winter months. You want to watch watering. So the fastest way to kill off cyclamen is to overwater. That will lead to the tubers rotting and the plants quickly dying. You want to allow the top, in terms of these little guys, the top 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch to dry out before watering. With the standard varieties, you want the top 2 inches of soil to dry out. So err on the side of underwatering rather than overwatering these. The soil, when you repot next year, should be rich and well draining, and we'll cover that in a little bit more detail in a minute. So fertilizing them. You do want to fertilize them once when you have them growing in the winter months. Use an organic fertilizer that it will be mild for the roots. I do have my Green Gourmet houseplant food, which works well. You can also use a liquid fertilizer, which is a little bit easier to do on these little guys. But whatever you do, do tend towards the organic fertilizer. When the cyclamen stops flowering in the spring, so what's going to happen is in your indoor environment, like I mentioned, it can go for 2 or 3 months depending. When it stops flowering, you want to, and even if it's not spring yet, say it's still winter, you want to taper off on watering until the foliage yellows. When the leaves die back, that means the plant is dormant. So it's dormant at that point, not dead, dormant. Stop watering and place the potted plant in a cool, dim location for the next 2 to 3 months, such as an unheated garage or a shed. So you can pretty much just put them somewhere, kind of forget them, just remember where they are, but you can put them in an out-of-way location. In midsummer, you want to take them and move the cyclamen to a shaded location outdoors and resume watering and start fertilizing. At that point, you want to fertilize every 3 to 4 weeks, because the plant will be storing up nutrients for its bloom fest the following winter in your house. When the temperatures dip near freezing in the fall, bring the plants indoors, and the cyclamen should start budding up and blooming by midwinter for you, and then you start the whole cycle again. At some point, you will want to repot them. You may not have to do that for the first cycle, but by the second year, you'll probably want to repot. So in that case, use a rich but well-draining soil. So something with some peat moss or coir in it, but also with a good drainage agent such as perlite or pumice. I do have a pumice product, and I'll put the link below for as well. So that is a very fun way to get a plant to continue to reflower for you. It's always very exciting when you take it out in summer and you start watering it, and then it starts to grow and you see it growing very well, and you bring it in. And then the most exciting, of course, is when you have it indoors and it buds up for you, and knowing that you're going to enjoy beautiful blooms again the following winter. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.